I used to envy people who could take a few squares of chocolate and then put the rest of the bar away. A few years ago, I didn't eat because I was hungry. I ate because I was stressed, I was tired, or because I felt overwhelmed. I would have a healthy day and then suddenly find myself halfway through a jar of peanut butter wondering what happened. And then came the guilt, the mental math, the plan to be better tomorrow. And it felt like this cycle that I could not escape. And it took me many years and a degree in nutrition before I realized the mistakes that I was making. So in today's video, I am sharing everything that helped me because it was not willpower, it was strategy. And strategy number 1 and number 6 are the best in my opinion, so don't skip out on these. And if we haven't met before, I'm Maria and I'm a registered dietitian. And I make videos providing practical nutrition tips. So if you learned something today, make sure to hit subscribe and welcome to the channel. Firstly, I want to point out that emotional eating is something that we are taught from a young age. When you were sad, you were often encouraged to eat. Feeling low? Here's a cookie. Bad day? Let's order a takeout. And it is a very natural connection to make. So there is a reason that this habit formed, but there is a way out of it too. The solution, however, is not guilt, because you cannot punish yourself out of emotional eating. It's not about more discipline or doubling down on more workouts or stricter eating patterns. It's about breaking patterns one small shift at a time. So the first thing that helped me, and out of everything that I'm going to share today, the one that makes the biggest difference was simply eating regular meals and consuming enough sensible calories. So it's not skipping breakfast, not saving calories for later, or not trying to follow a calorie controlled diet that doesn't even have enough calories for a toddler. What helped me was giving my body what it needed on a regular, consistent schedule. Now this can be a lot harder than it sounds, particularly if you are worried about gaining weight. It almost seems counterintuitive. But in my experience, and in so many of my clients' experiences as well, the opposite often happens. I actually ended up losing weight and finally getting much more in control of my eating when I did this. You just have to be patient and trust the process. Because back in college, before I became a dietitian, I was always experimenting with different ways of eating. I would skip meals or try to cut things out, or try to be really good all day long, and then suddenly at 9 p.m. in the evening, you find yourself standing in the kitchen eating peanut butter straight out of the jar. And what finally helped me break that cycle was simply just going back to basics. I started having a proper breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks when I needed them. It sounds simple. It even sounds a bit boring. Most people would want me to give them a much more glamorous tip than this. But sometimes simplicity is key, and something as simple as basic regular meals is something that many of us don't really do. Especially if you're in a cycle where you're trying to lose weight, or you're compensating because you ate too much yesterday. But when I finally stopped trying to eat as little as possible and moved the focus on fueling my body, everything began to change, and that excessive hunger finally calmed down. The mindless snacking started to fade, and for the first time ever, I finally began to feel in control around food. It might not sound trendy or exciting, but honestly, eating enough consistently is one of the most underrated emotional eating strategies out there. It's also one of the core strategies that I use with clients who are trying to recover from binge eating disorder, because it works. For years, I used to label food as either good or bad. And I would try to cut out all the quote unquote bad foods like pizza, chocolate, cookies. And guess what? I would always just end up eating them anyway. Usually after a stressful day and when I felt like I just deserved a treat. But over-restriction creates obsession. The more you tell yourself that you can't have something, the more power that it holds over you. You are putting that food on a pedestal. But once I gave myself permission to eat anything in moderation, without guilt, those intense cravings started to fade. I wasn't thinking about food 24/7 anymore. And I could eat a few squares of chocolate without feeling like I needed to consume the whole bar. And here's the part that shocked me the most. I, in fact, got into the best shape of my life, whilst eating a way more relaxed diet than I ever thought would have been possible. And letting go of these food rules, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to let go of structure. It just means choosing balance over punishment. For example, I would allow myself to have a small slice of dessert, but only after I had a balanced meal. So I stopped focusing so much on what I needed to cut out. Instead, I started adding things in. Something like having a piece of fruit with breakfast, leaner meats and more protein sources at meals, and more veggies throughout the day. And without even trying, this naturally began to displace some of the higher calorie foods, just by crowding them out a little. And at night, if I still felt like I had room for a treat, I would allow myself to have it. But because I felt satisfied, I could actually just enjoy a cup of tea with 1 or 2 biscuits instead of needing to eat half the pack. And this simple mindset shift made food feel enjoyable again. And it gave me so much back in terms of a quality of life perspective, which is so important when we're thinking about food. But food was something I finally did not have to constantly be fighting and battling against. I also started prioritizing higher volume, lower calorie foods. And these would help bulk out my meals without necessarily adding lots of calories, which is a really good strategy if you're trying to manage your weight. For example, I might have my regular rice, but I would mix it with cauliflower rice. Or I would load up my plate with more salad and more cooked veggies. This made my meals just look so much bigger, look so much more full, and then I was mentally satisfied. And eating healthy, particularly if you're trying to lose weight, is just as much as a mental game as it is a physical one. And there's also science behind this because your stomach has stretch receptors, and these signal fullness when your stomach is physically full. So by filling up with higher volume, lower calorie foods, you're naturally going to feel more satisfied in comparison to if you were to have something like 1 or 2 tablespoons of peanut butter on a rice cake and call it a day. When I wasn't sleeping well and when I was stressed about exams, everything felt harder. I was exhausted, emotional, and constantly hungry. And of course, in these situations, a tub of Ben & Jerry's ice cream seems so much more appealing than a salad. And we know that sleep directly impacts your hunger hormones. It can increase ghrelin levels, which make you feel hungrier, and lower leptin, which keeps you feeling full. And if you combine this with something like stress, you have the perfect storm for emotional eating. So now what I do and what I get all of my clients to do is to really prioritize sleep and stress management. This should be proactive and not a reactive response. So if I know that I have a busy or stressful week coming up, I will try to get ahead of it. I'll try to plan in more downtime when I think I'm going to need it. I'll try to move my body in a way that will help me decompress, and I'll try to avoid as much as possible overbooking myself. And even now, I'm getting married in what is literally a few months, so I am really consciously making an effort to say no to a lot of other things that are coming up over the next few weeks, because I just don't want to suddenly end up with too much on my plate and feel stress. So again, that is taking a proactive approach rather than waiting for it all to just blow up in my face. And sometimes it's just about accepting the situation. For example, if you wake up and you have had a terrible night's sleep, just accept that you're probably going to be a bit hungrier that day. And instead of just reaching for random snacks all day, maybe plan around that. Maybe allow yourself to eat more, but try to decide that, okay, I haven't slept well, I'm going to feel quite hungry, so I'm going to have a bigger breakfast and a bigger lunch to try to counteract what may happen, which is grabbing the things that you probably don't need to be eating too much of. Now, sometimes emotional eating is not just about hunger and cravings. It's about habit. It's that Friday night treat feeling when you just want the comfort of sitting down on the couch, watching Netflix and having some chips or chocolate because it's been a long week. And instead of going cold turkey and trying to completely avoid that, you want to instead replace the ritual. Maybe you could relax by taking a nice warm bath instead of propping yourself on the couch for the evening. Or maybe you do really want to treat yourself, and that's okay too, but it might just be making a smart swap. These days, I often make my own high protein ice cream in my Ninja Creamy. So I still get that curl up on the couch feeling without the crazy amount of calories that you might typically get in something like a Ben & Jerry's. If you want my high protein Ninja Creamy recipe or any other healthy recipes that taste amazing, I'd recommend following me over on Instagram or checking out my website where I post all my recipes. And I will also leave a free recipe ebook in the description box below. It could be something like replacing a regular fizzy drink or a regular Coke with a Diet Coke, or making, instead of getting a takeaway of chips, making your own homemade chips in the air fryer. Or I know when I'm at home in Ireland, if I really want a takeaway, I'll get something like Camille Thai because it's a healthy-ish takeaway. And there are so many different options for healthier, tasty foods nowadays that there really is no excuses. You just want to find swaps that still feel familiar, but are just that little bit better. And honestly, sometimes the best swap isn't food at all. We don't want to rely on using food as an emotional crutch as much as possible. So trying to swap food as a relaxing way to unwind with something like going for a bath, ringing a friend, taking a walk, reading a book. But don't just remove the behavior. Give yourself something else to reach for in its place. That's how you start breaking the habit loop. Now this is one of my favorite ones, and it's using the 10-minute delay. If I'm really craving something, I will set an alarm on my phone for 10 minutes. And during this time, I will get up from the table, remove myself from the situation, and do something. It could be making a start on the dishes. It could be emptying the dishwasher. It could be scrolling on my phone or going for a really short walk outside. But I would remove myself from the situation. And 9 times out of 10, when my alarm would ring at 10 minutes later, the craving would have passed. And I would realize that I was no longer hungry, because again, I was simply eating out of habit. And this works particularly well if you, like me, always find yourself craving something sweet after dinner. Just remove yourself from the situation, give yourself a little buffer, a little space, and you never know, you may just not need that chocolate. Now, there is no one quick fix. It doesn't happen overnight. But taking these small steps and implementing some of these tips that I shared today, they will add up and eventually they will help you break the cycle. So if emotional eating is something that you struggle with, start here. You deserve a relationship with food that feels freeing, not frustrating. And let me know in the comments below which tip you found the most useful and which one you're going to start implementing straight away after watching this video. And if there's anything else you would like help with that you would like me to cover in a future video, just let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to help. And if you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you would like to watch this one next. As always, thank you very much for watching. Stay happy and stay healthy, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching.